going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here, and today we are going to be silencing the E300. So what do I mean by that? Quite simple. We're going to go from this to this. All right, guys, so before we begin the process here of silencing this E300, I want you guys to do something for me. If you are not yet subscribed to the RabidMining YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button down below right now. And if you have seen previous my videos in the past and they have helped you out, maybe consider becoming a channel member to help out the channel a little bit more, and it helps us survive and get more things to showcase for you guys. Now, with all that being said, let's look into silencing this miner. So in order to silence the E300, there's nothing special going on here. It's the same thing we did with our L3 Plus to silence that. So when you purchase this miner, you can actually purchase the Noctua kit with it itself. That's simply getting these fans right here. These are the industrial. They're a little dusty because I've had these for a while. These are my own fans, but they did not work. So the plug that these come with right here does not fit into the default control board of the E300. So I could not use this, but they did send me out this attachment right here, which is the plug for this control board, and then goes to the proper plug for these Noctua fans. Now, as you can see, I got them in right here, kind of wrapped around my mic cable. Oh my gosh, what is going on? Get away. There we go. Thank you very much. So we got this cable right here, and obviously that will just plug into there. We're good to go. Now, if you have an E300 or a newer model, you may notice that these will already work. Allegedly, after the April batch, so everything from now going forward, after the first batch, it has a new control board with the proper plugs for these fans as well as the Noctua fans. So that's already said to done in all batches after April. So anything ordered now will have the new control boards within them. Now, as mentioned, the E300 itself comes in two separate flavors. This E300 right here, around $51.99, and the Noctua kit, which comes with those fans, is about an extra 50 bucks. Now, depending where you are, you could get this one with these big fans here and then buy those separately on eBay or whatever you decide on, and you might be able to save a bit, but 50 bucks is a pretty decent deal. I think with Canadian, I spent like 70 bucks or something on those two. So, you know, 50 bucks USD I think is actually cheaper than what I did. Regardless, it's up to you how you want to get this. Now, there's two other E300 variants here. So there's like the E100, which is just one single FPGA, and then there's the E300 VU33P version, which is like it's still three FPGAs within it, but it's like your Squirrel FK33s. The VU33Ps are the same FPGAs as, I believe, you know, the FK33. So you're getting three of those in here as well. I do have links in the description to Osprey and discount codes for each individual miner if you are looking for these FPGAs for yourself. Remember, you must use the proper code to get that discount because there's three different models and three different discount codes. So make sure you line up the proper ones. All right, so with all that out of the way, on top of silencing this miner with the other fans here, I am hoping we'll also gain some efficiency by reducing the power, because these fans use quite a bit of power versus those in theory, but we're going to see at the wall what the difference is. But if we look at it right now, and they are ramped up to level 10, full speed ahead, we're using about 515 watts right now, mining Caspa at 15 gigahash. That is your medium type of settings. You can get 17 gigahash here, which is another thing I want to recommend. Once you throw these fans on, you're not going to fully be able to overclock this to the max, because you're probably going to run into too high of temperatures and cook your boards and stuff. So you don't want to do that. That is one thing you're going to have to really be careful on, unless you live where it's winter, Antarctica all the time, or your ambient is below maybe 20 degrees. You can maybe then get those high overclocks. But right now, I am running my FPGA boards. FPGA 0 and 1 is at 630 of the voltage, and FPGA 2, which is the third one, is running at 620. So that's what I got my settings at in terms of voltages, and they are clocked at about 650 at the core. So that's what I got running here for settings. Now I'm going to do a quick run of the decibel meter just so we can compare everything back to forth when we do get this done. So we're just going to come into here, put this nice and close, and then I'll just shut up for a minute. So yeah, we can see we're around that 83 decibel mark. That is pretty loud. Now, I also have another thing to point out. A whole bunch of things just keep coming up last minute. Now, this is only 2 fans, and I know big Bitcoin ASICs are very, very loud, but I think this is actually louder in more of an annoying way. So, Bitcoin miner, it is loud. It was still in the 80 decibels, but it really I didn't mind it that much, because it's more of a higher pitch. Now, this is a lower pitch here, and that's one thing you got to keep in mind, is the frequency of the noise they produce. So lower volumes travel farther, travels through walls. So you're going to hear this thing in longer distances and through walls a lot more than you would a big Bitcoin miner. As hard as that is to believe, that's just the way it works. This is a lower frequency sound than the high-pitched Bitcoin miners. And as you know, we silenced the big Bitcoin miner anyway. It is now a home miner. So thumbs up to that. Now we're going to do it on the E300. All right, so the first step in safety, what we got to do here is obviously turn off our miner and unplug your power supply so you don't accidentally hit the power button or something. Once that's out of the way, we're going to go through our tools. We're going to need our fans here, and you can use a screwdriver. You're going to need a Phillips head or a star, but in my case, I'm just going to go with the DeWalt here, this bad boy, the 18 volter, and we're just going to drive those babies out of there. So I believe that's going to be a lot faster method than the old hand crank, right? Am I right or am I right? You know I'm right. It's Rabid. Anyway, so let's get into taking these fans off. All right, so the first thing I want to do to remove these fans is unplug them first. Now, you can put your fingers in here and kind of fight with them, or just directly pull out if they're easy. In my case, I'm just going to go in here with a little screwdriver here and kind of push them out. So you can see like that, bam, and bam. Look at that. Much easier, you know. Efficiency, guys. It's all about efficiency, and that's why we're going to be using the big 18 volt. We don't want any downtime. We're sitting here plugging away, screwing around like crazy. It's not going to be efficient. So we're going to roll with this guy right there. All right. Now we have our cables all taken off here. I want to remove the front fan. And always remember how they're situated. I don't think it matters if you're sucking through the front, exhausting through the back, or vice versa, sucking through the rear and exhausting through the front. This is currently exhausting through the front the way it came. So I'm just going to keep it the same way. But again, I don't think it really matters. And sometimes you can increase the cooling by reversing it because it gets filled with dust. Now, obviously, the best way to go about that is clean out your darn miner. Regardless, let's look at this. So I did pull this out over the table a bit so I can get everything into here. So we're just going to simply put that in. We're going to start with number 1 here. Oh yeah, look at that. Out. Getting numbers 2 here. Oh yeah, look at that. You know, it's so much nicer, huh? Just use the power tools. Arr, 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 arr. Little Tim Allen there, if you're unfamiliar. I'm sure you guys all are aware about it. Now, hopefully I don't hit my camera with this thing, but we'll find out. All right, there we go. So we're almost out. Almost out. We're going to do a little bit of screwing here. That's okay, though. Let's just kind of, there we go. Bam, look at that. I feel like we're in a NASCAR pit stop, right? You know, if I was a NASCAR pit person, I guess that's what it would feel like. You know, I'm not one, so I don't really know. Okay, I got this thing flipped around to the rear, and now we're going to pull this side out as well. So same process here. Get our big screw gun in, and out she comes. Yeah, looking good, looking good. Yep, looking good there. Let's get her down here this time. Oh yeah, you're out. And the final one. Oh yeah, oh sure, of course you do. You little guy right here, just want to be a little bugger. That's okay, we're out. I see a little bit of dust in there. Maybe I could blow this thing out or something, but for the most part, it's not too bad. Regardless, there we go. All our fans are out. That was pretty darn easy. All right, so we're on the rear here still, and now we got to line up our fans. And like I said, we're going to be sucking through the rear and blowing through the front. So that's how we're going to have to set this up. So we're going to have to align our fans properly. So if you look on the top of these Noctuas, you can see which way the fan is spinning and which way the airflow is going. Or for another case, out the back is the way the air comes. So in this case, on the back here, we are going to situate our fan like so in this position and give enough slack so that we can make sure our cable does make it all the way around. Now, because of these extensions, we could probably put this almost anyway and it will make it. But we just used the exact same screws that came with the other fans. We're not going to be putting them in too tight because you are going to hit the actual FPGA heatsink here on some of these. So I'm only going to use, I think, this one and this one down here. Yeah, I'm only going to use these two here because we're going to hit these. So we're going to have to be very careful because these two won't fit. Regardless, it should still keep it fairly tight. But we'll find out once we get her done. Now, also, you know, you can just put the fan guards back on, but I'm not going to. Not recommended, but I'm just going to leave it as is. Make sure you don't put your finger in there. It will hurt. Ow, I hold my thumb there. I fail at that. I fail at the panda spin. That's the Rabid spin, the fail spin. Oh, that looks sweet. Look at these things. Those ball bearings just go forever. Anyway, let's get this thing in there. So I am going to start this by hand just to make sure I don't strip anything with the drill. And I don't even think I'm going to use the drill because I want to make sure I don't drive this thing into one of the FPGA boards or chips. Or you guys can't really see with my hand there, but sorry about that. So we're just going to start it like so. Nice. And then we're just going to start the other one as well. Always keep them loose. Don't tighten them up right off the get-go because you may need a little bit of wiggle there. That's pretty much bolting stuff in 101. But yeah, never make everything tight. Always leave some of them loose. So there we go. We're kind of like that. So I'm just going to zip these in and we'll see how it looks. All right, so I did zip those on, and as we can see, it is pretty tight. We don't have to worry about this thing going anywhere with just these two. Now, you don't want to go too tight on this side because this will start to crimp and eventually it'll probably break somewhere in here. But nice and snug will just work fine. And there we have fan number 1 on the rear. Now we're going to flip this over and do fan number 2 on the front side. Okay, so just like the back, we got to figure out which way we want our fan. And because I am sucking in from the rear and we're exhausting out the front, we got to come into our fan here and look at it and go this way. Here you can see the arrow is now coming towards us. The fan will be spinning to the right like so. And again, this will be the rear facing at us. Just like how we had on the other fans, the rear was facing us anyway. And here we can see we have a lot of space on this side and not too much here. Our screws will hit the heat sinks of the FPGAs here. So we're going to utilize just this side right here. So we're going to put that on and we will cut back. And again, I am starting everything by hand so I know nothing will get stripped or anything. Once you know that they are in place, we're going to use our little screwdriver because I don't want to drive them in here. Even though I know there's a lot of space, you know, it's always better to be safe than sorry. So I'm just going to use this little stub nose here and we're just going to drive those in by hand. You know, you can simply just twist your fingers together here because these things do spin incredibly easy. So a little screwdriver trick if you guys are curious. I'm sure you guys all know this, maybe not. But, you know, when you're working on a drilling rig, it's all about speed, and you got to get things done now. You know, you're getting paid millions of dollars an hour. I'm just kidding, not that much, but I'm just saying. Okay, we're coming in here. Looks pretty straight. Give it a little snug in. Oh, yeah. A little more. Looks good. Get the bottom in here. And a little snug. There we go. Yeah, nice and tight. All right, there we go. Our fans are now installed. Okay, so the fans are all in. I got everything plugged into our controllers here, and as you can see down the side, we have plenty of room to get this plugged in. I can pull it out way out to here, as you can see. So we got a lot of room that we can do there. I kind of wrapped this one around. It's a little big. Maybe I should have put the fan guards on. This actually has a little bit of guard here. It shouldn't go in, and we are exhausting here anyway, so it should blow out. But regardless, everything's looking good. We're going to get the Ethernet plugged in, plug our power supply back in. Check out our mask. There we go. Good old Rabid face. Anyway, just kidding. We're going to get this thing plugged in, fired up, and take a look at our, well, take a listen to it, see what it sounds like. And then obviously check out our power meter back there, see what kind of power we are drawing. Anytime I move a miner, I do want to make sure everything's ready to go. So everything's plugged in now, but this is like my pre-mine checklist, and it should be like a weekly, every 2-week list as well. So turn down your miners, check all the connections. So I'm just going to simply go through here, wiggle each individual one here, and make sure everything is kind of tight on the hash board. Not hash board, the breakout board there. Had a brain fart for a minute, as well as our FPGAs right here, our hash boards here. So make sure all the power's in. Everything does seem kind of tight. You know, those guys, these guys in here, everything's good. So now I'm gonna hit the power button and see if this thing blows up. To the moon. All right, so we're going, but I do not see power happening on this one. So I'm gonna have to check the connection. Never mind, it's spinning. I don't know what I'm talking about. I got tricked. So don't get tricked, guys. So as you can see, I'm not sticking my finger in there. I seen this wasn't spinning, but it's actually spinning in there. I can feel the air. But yeah, so this thing is working 100%. It's just I got kind of fooled here thinking, How come it's not spinning when it was just that back part? So we're good. It's spinning there. Let's make sure this is spinning. It's looking, yeah, it's looking like it's spinning. Not putting my finger in there. We are drawing some power. We're at about 51 watts. I think that's about what the other ones are at, actually, when it's just booting up. Anyway, I'm gonna get this thing mining and see what things look like. All right, so there we are, fired up, ready to go. We are on 15 gigahash right now. It is mining away. And let's take a look at our power consumption. So we are hanging out at about 496 watts. So we are about 497, I guess. So we are, what were we at there? 515. So we lost like 16, 17 watts swapping fans. So that's pretty good. Let's take a look at how loud this miner actually is right now. So I'm going to put it up close, and then I will just shut my mouth and yap for a little bit here. Get that light out of the way there. So now I'll be quiet. So we are around 72 to 73 decibels, I suppose. So we lost about 10 decibels, but I don't know if you can hear it through the mic or not. There is a slight hum there, but it is definitely nothing like it was. This thing is very quiet now. You can definitely stick this anywhere in your house. Not, well, maybe not right beside you or not in your bedroom, but in a different room or something, and you shouldn't hear it, I don't think. Regardless, this thing is now quiet, and this is the exact same mod, exact same fans and everything that you would use on like your L3 Plus and stuff to silence them. So hopefully this video helped you out, and again, check those links down in the description as well as using the proper codes. And that is all. The E300 is now another silent miner that Rabid has tamed. Thank you for checking out this video, guys. I will see you on the next one. Rabid out.